What's up, everybody? Joe Brown here. This is the Heresy Financial Show. Now, if you've been around the channel for any length of time, you've probably heard me say over and over and over again that I think gold and silver miners are probably the most undervalued asset class in the world right now. So I reached out to the CEO of Galantas Gold. His name is Mario Stifano. Had him on the show today so that we can talk about going deep into the business of gold mining, production, exploration, what is so special about pure Irish gold. So we had a fun conversation. It's going to be very educational, and they were kind enough to sponsor today's video as well. So without further ado, let's dive in. Thank you so much, Mario, for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I would like to start off. We were talking about this a little bit before, and there's just something really special about Irish gold, and I want to hear kind of the story about what the thought process was behind, from the beginning, being able to have that pure Irish gold, and the kind of what's special about that.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. I mean, there is something really special in history about pure Irish gold. The pot of gold, and the history here with Galantas really started with this idea of gold in Wales. When Princess Diana got married, she had her gold ring secured with gold from Wales. And that gold was able to be sold for, I'm told, for up to $10,000 an ounce. So huge premiums to the spot gold price at the time. And Galantas and the former CEO, Roland Phelps, had the same idea with our project in Northern Ireland, where he wanted to produce some gold from underground mining, but at the same time sell that gold into jewelry stores and get this big premium, because everyone seems to like this concept of pure Irish gold. And down the road, that is something we are going to continue to look at. If you look at some of our early history at Galantas and our financial statements, there is some line about jewelry, revenue from jewelry, because that was done earlier on in our process when we were getting this mine up and running from an open pit, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that I think that'd be really cool, even to have a little coin with some stamp on it that's just it's exactly from Ireland, just pure Irish gold there. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. Maybe we can link the pure Irish gold with the blockchain and the NFT, and everyone will know if you got pure Irish gold coin.
Right,
Big
absolutely. Yeah, I like it. Well, I would like to know though why this area hasn't been really explored in the past, and it sounds like it had something to do with the conflict, and now it's kind of opened up, and there's a big opportunity that didn't used to be there.
That's exactly correct. So with the conflict in Northern Ireland and the Friday peace process, during the conflict, no one would want to explore in this district, and rightly so. But with the Friday peace process, it really opened up this area to exploration, and because really no one other than Galantas and Dalradian as well. I'll get into a little bit more detail on Dalradian, but that is a world-class gold discovery. We were the only two companies really exploring in this area. Basically, we started in the late 90s and into 2000. Galantas started producing open pit, 20,000 ounces, and then we were planning to go underground. But because of the low gold price environment, this was a new district. There wasn't a lot of money spent on exploration, but I think this is the great opportunity for ourselves, because if you look at Dalradian, it was acquired in 2018 for $550 million, has 6 million ounces of gold at 13 grams in resources. And that's a super high grade resource in today's world. And it's a world-class discovery. And if you look at Newfoundland, which believe it or not, this is the exact same geological rocks you see in Newfoundland, and you got Newfound Gold, you got Marathon. If you add up the market caps of all the companies in Newfoundland, they've got to be approaching north of $2 billion. And here's Galantas with 500,000 ounces of resources. We're ready to go into production in the coming weeks. In addition to that, once we're in production, generating cash flow, we're going to be able to explore at Galantas and try and find some high-grade extensions to our ore body. And we think we are onto something quite special here. It's just a matter of continuing to drill.
And that's an upside for investors. You're most likely not going to be having to dilute the shares. You'll be able to generate free cash flow in order to.
Well, that's exactly it. So people that are new to the mining industry, they ask me, what's the closest industry to mining and exploration? I would say it's biotech. So think of a biotech company that's investing in new research, new technologies, new therapeutics, and a lot of times they don't work. They don't get FDA approval, etc. But if you can get a biotech that is generating cash flow from whatever they identified as a therapeutic or some sort of medicine, at the same time reinvesting their cash flow in identifying their next blockbuster. Well, that's really what mining, those are the kind of mining companies that make a lot of returns for their shareholders. And Galantas has made the cut now because we're entering production. We've got one of the best, I think, exploration potential in the Western world. We're just starting to really test the tip of the iceberg of what we think we may have here at our project in Northern Ireland. And as we continue to move up that value chain, if we don't have to raise 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars a year because we're going to be generating cash flow, and we don't have to raise a significant amount of cash flow to go into production, as we move up and create value from a market cap perspective, it's reflecting the share price, not just issuing new equity all the time.
Right. So given what's going on in the world today, everybody's looking for a place to store their value and make sure they're beating inflation, and hopefully on top of that generate a real return, positive ROI. What is what is the advantage? A lot of people are looking at and saying, hey, like I'd like to just keep my gold in my hand at home. What is the advantage to taking on the additional risk, looking in the mining industry in general, of hey, like they have to spend money, they have to drill, like what if they don't find, what if it's not really there, like all that. What is the advantage? What are some of the differences between owning physical gold and betting on miners?
Yeah, and I agree in holding physical gold, holding physical silver. There's nothing wrong with having physical assets. But I think as part of your strategy to exposure to precious metals, because there is a lot of uncertainty in our world today, the war obviously in Europe with Ukraine, which is quite sad, and we're all hopeful that a peace solution will come very quickly. But nonetheless, I think the war in Ukraine really opened up our eyes to the risks to the world, because we were down this path anyways. Because if you look at the US, look at Canada, look at anywhere in the Western world, we are way over leveraged in terms of deficits, while at the same time we've got high inflation and close to zero interest rates. And if you look at it from a real perspective, we're obviously running negative real interest rates. So when you look at gold mining companies and exploration companies, there is risk. There is no doubt about it, because you're always hopeful that the company you invest in is going to discover the big one or discover something the market wants or a major wants. In our case, and most gold exploration companies, if you do have success here, and I think we're well on the path to success, your multiple is significantly higher than the gold price. So I love to see gold go to 2,000. We hit it obviously a week or so ago. I'm hopeful we're going to get to $3,000, $4,000 an ounce. I really don't know. But at $2,000 an ounce, I know Galantas is going to make some good cash flow. And if we get to any higher prices, our multiple and our cash flow is going to go significantly higher. And if you look at some of the increase in the juniors back in the financial crisis, 2008 to 2011, and even in the late 80s and early 90s, when there's some discoveries, junior exploration companies typically could go up 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times with a good discovery. And you're not necessarily going to see gold over the next 5 years. I love to see it, and maybe I don't want to see it because that's going to be something horrible for the world if gold does this. But if gold's at $20,000 an ounce, I think we're all in trouble. Nobody really wants to see that in the next few years, right? But so you're not going to see gold go up 10 times, but you could definitely see a junior exploration company go up 10 times or more.
That makes sense. And there's something a little bit unique about Galantas, that it's not just exploration. You also have production and some exciting drill results as well, right?
That's exactly it. So our plan is to go into production in the coming weeks. We're going to produce around 9,000 ounces of gold this year and increase that to about 18,000 ounces next year. And then we're going to look to expand that production profile to 25, 35, 50, 75, 100,000 ounces, staged expansion, so we don't have to really overextend ourselves from a capital perspective. That's really going to be predicated on increasing our resources so that we can continue to feed a mill and expand our mill. And as you would have seen this morning on our recent drill results, the reason why I think the market, and we got some significant shareholders investing in Galantas, is the potential for this high grade type of discovery here at Galantas. So this morning we announced 31 grams over 7 meters at the Kearney vein. A few weeks ago, we announced just to the west of the Kearney vein is the Joshua vein. We announced 13 meters of 17 grams gold. So these are very high gold grades. And even in the release today, we announced we intercepted again this B lens, which is now showing quite a bit of continuity here. And that was over 2 grams of 74 grams, sorry, 2 meters of 74 grams. So we're clearly seeing some really high grade mineralization now at Galantas. And this should not surprise any investors, because if you look at the amount of drilling that's occurred here, it's 25,000 meters of drilling. That is nothing when you look at trying to identify a resource. And just 20 miles away from us is Dalradian, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. They got
Yeah.
6 million ounces back in 2018 at 13 grams gold. And I'm pretty sure, based on the amount of drilling they've been doing over the last 4 years, that amount of ounces, potentially grade, is higher.
Wow. Well, I've been saying this on my channel for probably 1.5 to 2 years now. I think gold mining in general is the most undervalued asset class, the most undervalued sector in the entire world. And so in a time like now, like this is why I'm so excited to hear about stories like this and find out about companies like Galantas, is just because it's in the period of time we are now where everything else is so overvalued and inflation is really starting to get going. The gold price, as it goes up, that will have an exponential effect on the mining stocks. And full disclosure, I do own a little bit of Galantas, so a little bit of talking my own book here, but really, like that's why I'm excited to talk to you about stuff like this, because like you said, it's an exponential effect on the stock.
That's exactly it. And there is something about this old school treasure hunting, and you can see I'm in at my condo in California, and we have a general library. Even when you read, there's something about holding a book in your hand versus Kindle at Amazon, right?
Right.
I don't know. I get much more enjoyment reading a book with flipping the pages than swiping up or to the right or left with the Kindle. It's the same thing with gold, right? There is something about going and identifying a gold deposit. It's like that treasure hunt. I mean, there is nothing more satisfying of finding something that was never there. Like, I get Bitcoin, I get this digital currency. I prefer gold and precious metals way more than I do digital currency. But digital currency is already identified. Yeah, you can mine Bitcoin, but you're mining to 21. You're not really finding anything. It's just I don't know. It's like a video game, right? You're just it's like a factory. You put up some equipment and you're mining it. But when you find something special like Galantas and you get to hold the core in your hand, you see the gold and you know what you found. I don't know. Maybe I'm I should have been a treasure hunter. I have no idea, but there's great satisfaction when I got those assays, and I saw that 31 grams and that 78 grams, and even all the other holes I've drilled in my past, whether it's at Doré Copper, which I'm the chairman of, or even at Cordoba, when we hit some high grade gold, and at Lakeshore Gold when we had some discoveries there as well. There's something special about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, very good. I'm going to put the information about the company and the stock in the description below the video for anybody who's interested in taking a look. And thank you so much, Mario, for joining us today and the really valuable advice and information, and looking forward to talking to you again sometime.
Look, I really appreciate it. I'd be happy to join you anytime.
Sure thing. All right. Thanks so much. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you.